That was my Britney for her wedding.
This is episode number 420 of WP Watercooler, WordPress and CannaBiz.
WordPress and CannaBiz. Dun, 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 dun.
He's Jason Tucker.
Jason? He's at Jason
Tucker.
Tucker, and he does stuff.
I'm Steve. I'm the founder of Zeek Interactive, and I sometimes run
Allegedly.
the WordPress meetup.
Really allegedly. Yeah, I'm Say Reed at Say Reed Media on the Twitter because I really like Twitter and I don't want it to go away.
And
I know that, dude.
Wow, this is a good intro today.
Wow, we're doing good. So go follow us on a podcast thing. There's like an Apple Podcast, Google
You ever look at your
Podcast,
post thumbnails?
Spotify.
This is a good intro today.
Yeah. We're doing good. So
Oh, whoa.
go
Whoa.
follow us. What are we doing here?
Well,
Who's Apple Podcast, Google
You ever look at your
Podcast?
post thumbnails?
Somebody's listening to the podcast while we're on the podcast.
We're doing good.
Don't do that because that causes a rift in the space-time continuum.
This is how we enter the multiverse.
Somebody's listening to the podcast. Oh, this is going really well today.
Robert,
Don't do
you
that.
might have the
Yay.
website open.
Space-time continuum.
This is how we enter the...
Yeah, Robert, you still have the looks like you have it open, so I'll wait for you to close that out.
You know, this is the stuff that we do on the pre-show.
No, that was great. That was
I'm just
perfect.
kidding.
We don't stream during the pre-show, so
there really is
that's
no pre-show, frankly.
I was happy with that because honestly, that was like you're tripping. I was like, "What's going on? What am I high?"
So while Robert is figuring out his audio, I want to mention that according to Wikipedia, 420 is cannabis culture slang for marijuana and hashish consumption.
Oh,
Just in case anybody knew.
I didn't know.
Wow.
Thick in here, huh?
Robert, you're muted currently. Feel free to unmute yourself down on the bottom there.
We're about to
There
hear
you go.
we're about to hear what we said 3 seconds ago.
I did not realize that I still had that window open.
It's autoplay. It's all good.
How are you?
Robert,
Doing
tell us
all
a
right.
little bit about yourself.
I've been
Who
working
are
with
you and what are you
WordPress.
doing here?
Worked with WordPress since 2005. Freelance for like 15 years. Work now full time at SiteCare, doing the same thing I did every other day of my life. So it was a nice transition to full time agency life. And now I'm working on launching my own company called CannaBiz Software. So offering WordPress and open source and more inclusive code for dispensaries that they don't have to pay thousands of dollars a month for.
Nice.
I'm really glad you're here because I have a lot of questions. I really do. I feel like. Sorry, did someone else want to say something?
No, go.
I was going to say more than normal.
Maybe, like normal without the A. More than normal. Get it? Look it up.
Got
guys. Okay.
Got it.
So I do have more questions than normal because I feel like and I have a lot of friends in the cannabis industry. So I do have a window into the industry because I live in Long Beach, it's like every other person who is in the cannabis industry. But I feel like because of the status of cannabis in general, in terms of state legality versus federal legality or taboo or whatever reasons, cannabis in general, the industry is something that is really separate from just the normal workings of everything, including like marketing, web stuff. Hosts have different policies, payment processors, obviously that's a huge thing. Because like, where is the payment being processed? So we can get into all that, but I just think it's weird to me. It feels like an artificial wall that you actually have. You can't just like, if someone did hit me up to build a site for their new product that was coming up, and I turned it down because I was like, I don't know all those rules and I don't have time to learn all those rules. And, I could build them for their rules, but I was like, it's just a whole thing. I feel like once I learn that, I'm like going to transition into that industry because it's really feels like a really specialized set of rules. So that's why I want to talk about that, because is that just a perception that I have, or do you find that?
No, Yeah, that's accurate, because like certain states have laws on what marketing can and can't display, what wording you can and can't use. So just off the bat, that alone, you now got to be
Right.
cautious in how you're creating anything. And then with the web, you got a lot of like the companies like Dutchy and other software companies that offer you your own menu solutions. They have the point of sale that's integrated, but then when you go to put it on your website, it's an iframe. So you're not getting no search engine optimization from it. Yeah, right. So like you can't link to a specific product if someone's asking you questions, because it's all done in an iframe. So everything's separate, and I feel like a lot of the needs are all just, it's the same basic needs. Everybody needs the same design quality, the same marketing capabilities, and the ability to present, I'm a professional business, rather than, you know, we're two kids out back smoking weed behind our shed, you know, and we're like 12 or whatever, you know. So like, and I think that's where the disconnect happens, because most people, that's what their perception still is, well, yeah, you guys sell weed for a living. Like, ex NFL players own companies, you know, like they're Hall of Fame players. They have their own company here, and they're doing stuff for the community. So it's beyond just, oh, well, it's a weed company. Now it's like you're an actual business and you're doing more than just that. But a lot of people don't treat it like that.
But the rules are there too, because so I was working with a social media consultant for a different like sub thing, and a lot of her other accounts were weed accounts, or, you know, cannabis accounts of drinks and whatever. And her account was restricted from doing advertising of certain, she couldn't use the advertising tools, which, you know, the entire point of all of Meta's offerings. And because she was attached to that account of mine, that account got restricted completely as well. So it was like tainted by all these other clients, even though the product and it was tainted by the admin connection, even though the product, it was, you know, it had nothing to do with cannabis whatsoever.
Right.
So that was actually really surprising to me in terms of the transference of that. It just seemed like such a big brush, and again, just impenetrable.
Yep.
Yeah. So how do you cross the wall?
I'm going to try to be as political as I can and not answer how I normally would, but
Why?
think,
This is the
There's no reason for you to not. As long as you're comfortable with it being on the internet.
Let me help you out real quick. All right,
there we go. Okay. From a personal standpoint, I tend to not worry as much, just because I've always been that way. Like, I don't care. The laws are the laws, and I understand the laws, but I also understand just and unjust laws, and I'll tend to just do what I want a little more if I know it's not harming anyone else. So for me, I look at it differently and say, okay, well, if you need a site built, and there's people in Canada, you can ship weed in Canada and through the mail. Like, someone can order it from you, and then you send it right to them.
You can ship
weed through the mail.
Yep.
You can ship psilocybin mushrooms through the mail in Canada.
Yep.
Really?
Why is there anyone left in this country? I don't understand.
I'm sorry, Robert. Please
Oh,
continue.
no, you're good. Yeah, but that's the point. It's like in certain areas, it's way more relaxed. Here, it's not. And then states have their own laws. Some states are like really open and whatever, and some states aren't. So, I think that it just depends on what you're willing to do and where you're willing to go with it. I guess.
You have a professional ask forgiveness, not permission approach.
Yeah, that's been my life. Yeah, that's my life.
Yeah, okay.
So with some things, do you have to go so as far as geofencing what you're putting on, what you're putting on your website? Like, have it look one way in California and a different way in, Iowa?
Yeah, I can't say for sure personally.
Okay.
I don't go that.
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't go that specific, and I don't know whether or not that's like an actual thing. I can't say. So.
An interesting thing to get back to Say's point about. I know we're not an Instagram show. This isn't Meta water cooler or anything like that, but
it is kind of a Meta water cooler.
Sure.
Streaming on there right now.
He means Meta with a capital M.
Right.
I know. It's not my dog water cooler.
I do know also I have a couple friends who run CBD businesses, which is something that is a little less federally restricted. And even because they are, weed businesses that Meta, that Instagram also limits what they can advertise.
Right. And I think obviously for them, it's just that's their approach to the individual state's liability and the different marketing that you have to do. They're just like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah, because they're looking at it like it's federally illegal, so we're just going to side with the federal government rather than each state-specific government.
That would be a lot of
overhead.
regulation. Yeah. I mean, or a lot of like attention that they would have to pay to that. I mean, and that's really why I'm saying even like, you know, the extra attention that you have to pay to the regulations. So are you building websites for cannabis businesses?
Yeah.
Are you building tools for cannabis businesses?
Tools, yeah. The WP dispensary plugin, it was just a menu management. So you could, just like a regular post, you add a post with a picture, and I added meta boxes that had the pricing and all that. And then it just evolved from there. So now it's full on e-commerce. So you can pre-order like through the dispensary's website. They get the info, you know, sent through email or whatever, and they can see all the data and change the statuses of the orders, and the customer gets all their stuff. And now I'm adding in like analytics and extra stuff to help the businesses actually understand what they're going to be, you know, what their best features are. Okay, if this product sells 10 times more, or we have way more sales this month in sativa products, then maybe we need to push these ones because the sales aren't really bumping as much. So you tell the bud tenders then, here, you can use this to go ahead and, you know, push this product more because we need to get it off the shelves before it, you know, runs out of the expiration dates. And so it just
That's
the
awesome.
all in general tools. Yeah.
So looking at your website though, real quick, you wrote your own e-commerce tool. You're not.
That's what I was
you're not leveraging WooCommerce.
Yep. I started with WooCommerce to try to build like a bridge connection between the two, and it became way too much work to try to just maintain it in order to get it. And you can see the dispensary details for WooCommerce.
Are you telling me that WooCommerce is complicated?
Yeah.
Wait a second,
just a little.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I actually thought, speaking of WooCommerce, and I've been a little out of the loop, but I believe we talked about WooCommerce had been blocking even CBD sales through their payment systems or through
WooCommerce payments.
Yeah, I don't know. This is Jason Cosper. Do you remember?
Yeah. For a little while, they were taking a stance, kind of like, hey, we really don't want to fuck with marijuana businesses, be they CBD or so. Yeah, if you're gonna run one of those websites, you're gonna run into problems. And
well, mostly.
So since we're on e-commerce, I know we're all kind of all over the place in this. We've all got questions.
What do you mean?
Robert, is there a payment gateway that will work with dispensaries?
Same question.
Coinbase Commerce.
Coinbase Commerce.
Yeah. So I mean, I know you can set up crypto. That's the only way I know of right now that will say 100% we accept this.
Wait, Coinbase Commerce is crypto?
Oh yeah,
Coinbase is
crypto.
Yeah, it's like an add-on through Coinbase itself. They came up with solutions for businesses to send invoices or whatever you want. So then they set up a WordPress plugin that integrates. So now you're able to accept payments with cryptocurrency.
So just again, out of total curiosity, is there a specific cryptocurrency that is the norm in this industry?
No, I mean, no. I think they're separate industries, but I feel like everybody has their favorite, so it would really depend. With like Coinbase Commerce, they allow Bitcoin, Litecoin,
Dogecoin,
Ethereum. Yes, like
what about dollars though? Like, what is the dollars?
Like a stable coin? You mean?
No, I mean like dollars, like US, like dollars with
like
the S.
Cash money, right?
Cash money, yeah. Like because. Yeah. Okay, let's not get into the Bitcoin conversation, but we can at the very least agree that it is a variable asset. Yeah?
What?
Right? Okay. So variable asset. So it seems to me that basing a business, you know, unless you're like literally converting at the second, or like, you know, oh, we have all the setup, so we just convert at a certain level, or I don't even know. Like that seems like a really tenuous setup for collecting payment for what is essentially a hard good, right? Like this isn't like the same as an NFT, which, you know, we could talk about how much it costs to make and all that stuff, but like someone has to buy the product and send the product. And so accepting a variable currency for that seems, it's like, it's a hard cost. So accepting a payment with a variable cost seems I mean, way more inherently risky than even just regular digital Bitcoin sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. And I think beyond just cash payments, pay on delivery, just set that if your website's saying you can order on our site, but you're going to pay us when we pull up, or, set up some type of system to where the customer can pay ahead of time and they get credits on their account. Like there's ways to do that. And I know there's also a company, I think it's named Kind Pay, that does payment processing for companies like that. So it's starting to shift. It's just a really slow process.
But they'll Kind Pay will only accept particular kinds of cards.
Yep.
So it's very. I know for a while they weren't accepting MasterCard. I know MasterCard has had an issue with CannaBiz.
So wait, are you saying for everything else there isn't MasterCard? I just wanted to clarify.
Good one.
There you go.
But
if you compare it to WordPress and Gutenberg, it's like how we were talking, Jason, about the full site editor. It's in its infancy stages.
I'm sure you're saying lovely things.
It's kind of bumpy, so you're not really fully at a solid product yet that you think can be useful to everyone. So we're all part of that learning process as we go along now.
So wait, this is a bit of a tangent, which appropriate for the episode, but we are at that point in so many places in society. Does it we're at it with the weed and e-commerce even still in general seems infant, right? It's changing so fast. Yeah, bring that smoke up. We've got sorry, it's so funny. I feel like I'm on that 70s show. No, but so the payment process is in its infancy stage, full site editing is in its infancy stage. So much of just our world, even our world, right here in these 5 little boxes, is in just such a nascent state of shifting. It's, Bitcoin, crypto, all that stuff. It feels like everyone's just placing bets on beta or VHS and
Laserdisc.
Well,
Blu-ray. This is what it feels like, and it's you're gonna. I don't even want to put a bet, because what if you choose Betamax?
Put all your money into Laserdisc.
You really have to be careful on that, because my roommate in 2008 got into buying HD DVDs. And
what are those drives now?
And he was like, you know what, man, HD DVD, it's great. I'm buying so many. He bought a player for his dad, and every time he would go to the store, he would buy 2 HD DVDs and then ship them to his dad.
Well, in his own little ecosystem of player and stack of HD.
So what you're saying is he now owns literally all
WordPress individually. Yeah,
right.
It's you fork it and you have all your own custom plugins, and you just live in your own little WordPress ecosystem of WordPress 4.2 or whatever. Over here. No, but seriously,
well, hold on 1 second. For the record, I have 1,000 VHSs. So
that's great. They're a legacy. They are a legacy format that still works.
No, you need to open up a Blockbuster.
Yeah, well, there's some stuff that you just can't find that people haven't converted yet, like old weird B-roll horror movies and stuff like that. You're not finding them
when
super
I was
easy.
on MTV's something where you sent a video recorder to someone, and then they recorded a little video and then sent the video recorder back, and then MTV aired it. Do you guys remember that show? Because I was on it. I do. I wore a backwards beret.
You were on it?
Maniacs right here.
Of course.
Yes, I did.
Somebody, if you have access to that, please upload it to YouTube.
Yeah,
it was not the SATs. If you find it, I want it.
If you find that will just be episode 421. We'll just put that on repeat.
Yeah.
So hilarious. Anyway, sorry. I do have a VHS though. I can't do anything with it. Can I fly to Detroit and watch my home video?
Yeah. I have extra VHS players actually.
You're gonna send me a VHS? That's amazing.
I got a few VCRs. I pick them up from time to time if I find someone on Facebook that's selling a new one in a box they just had tucked away for forever. Just in case one of mine break, I know I have a backup.
Okay, so what I'm gathering from this is we shouldn't take your advice on which payment processor we should be using.
Well, does that also mean you should have multiple payment processors?
Yeah. No, you should get your payment processors, put them in a box in case you need an extra one.
Yeah.
You guys are clowning Robert right now. That's
We're
not
not.
fair.
No.
We're not.
He picked a format that is still being produced to this day. I actually think he made the right choice, and we should listen to Robert on
all right.
Yeah.
as much as I don't want to be about cryptocurrency, like if that's what it takes to, like, personally, when I order a weed delivery, yes, role model. I'm no role model, but role model Jason Cosper does from time to time order a weed delivery.
Time to time.
And, yeah, and I always end up paying the guy cash, mainly so I can give him a little bit of a tip as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think I would sign up for necessarily, a Coinbase wallet or something like that just to pay the weed man. But I mean, I see the appeal of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I think my personal opinion, the cash is king, always will be. I think that, and especially for this, it's the easiest way. Same thing, you order food from a restaurant down the street and they're going to deliver food and you're going to give them cash and they're going to be happy and they're going to get their tip. It's the same thing. It's just a different business. And then once the credit card processors catch up and actually realize that they're fucking up, that's their fault,
Right.
then they can fix it and then everybody else is happy at that point and we can all
Right. I
use
mean,
whatever.
it's just like money on the table, like, because the transaction fees are generally pretty high.
Yeah.
Not high, but
One of the delivery services I use, you can pay with a debit card. However, they basically, and some shops in California do this as well, effectively run the transaction as a debit transaction.
Yeah, it's like ATM.
So say your transaction is $135, they give you, or it's like $135.06. They'll give you change and run an ATM transaction for $136.
This is the only reason that I ever have cash in my bag. Also, it is specifically, yes, we read the chat. Sorry, we interrupt ourselves and read the chat. Good. I'm scared now. But anyway, that's why I have cash in my bag, because they do give you cash back. So they basically are like just being an ATM machine and keeping the cash and then giving you, the roundup to whatever the thing is, the amount.
And if not, typically they'll have an ATM right in the lobby.
Or both.
Or both, yeah. So, it's not too
and you
difficult.
Actually, the one locally, you can't use someone else's card if it's not your name. So, for example, if you happen to have your spouse's card with you and not yours.
You've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard. Allegedly. I don't know.
I do know that Charles Schwab will refund ATM fees, and those ATM fees tend to be pretty high at dispensaries like that. So yeah, good stoners bank with Charles Schwab. Unfortunately, I'm not a good stoner because I don't, but I do have friends who have recommended that to me.
That's genius, because those dollars add up. That like $3 fee will add up over the course of some time, not like a week necessarily.
Maybe on a good week.
I feel like we've completely veered off of WordPress on this show.
Yeah, WordPress is awesome. WordPress is great. Yeah.
WordPress, it's a thing. Okay, so did we establish whether or not WooCommerce does allow for? I mean, I don't think it does, right? Because all the payment
WooCommerce. It sounds like WooCommerce payments won't. You can use WooCommerce, right? That's still
but you'd have to use something like KindPay, because all the main payment processors won't.
Yeah, so. Stripe won't. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I other than that, though, I mean, obviously the infrastructure is the same. So in your case, are there any special rules or special, other than like, custom post types that say, strain or whatever, like, did you have to create anything within your structure of your plugin that was different than if you were just, say, making a menu plugin for a restaurant or something?
Not too much, maybe in the way that I built it. Because when I built it originally, I just went through a rebuilding process like a few months ago where I stripped out a bunch and updated so much stuff in it because it was a lot of legacy code from before I knew what I wanted it to be. So now it's probably built a little bit different than other plugins might build a recipe plugin, but it's the same thing. You know, you're seeing a picture, you're seeing how much it is, and if you're selecting to place a pre-order or whatever, you can add it to cart, choosing by whatever weight they offer. You know, or if it's just a single product, you know, you can get 2 packs, or, you know, get discount deals, coupon codes. It's literally all the same, and that's why I think WordPress for me is just, it seems like such a natural fit, because Cannabis wants to be open and free, WordPress is open and free, and you put them together, and now you don't have places like Weedmaps charging you $3,000-$4,000 a month just to get a little dot on their map. And that's
okay,
if
but
you're
you
not.
still have to be on
Well,
Weedmaps.
that's actually, from what I've heard,
Wow.
that's inexpensive for Weedmaps. The what you just said, Weedmaps actually, in its heyday, it was starting like 10 or 15,000.
Yep.
A month.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of competition these days. I mean, in general, right? But you still,
Yeah,
you kind of
but
still have to be on Weedmaps, don't you? Like, you at least have to have a listing, because it's like how when Yelp started, and if you weren't on Yelp, you basically stopped existing
Weedmaps
Yelp
is Yelp.
currently.
until Grubhub, and then you didn't even have to exist.
Right.
See, the funny thing is, Weedmaps, Grubhub, DoorDash, Yelp, any of those businesses, they're all rent-seeking businesses. What I think the power of what Robert rent-seeking,
Like rent for a listing, kind of.
yeah, they're putting themselves between you and the marketplace,
Oh,
basically.
they're like landlords.
Yeah,
on digital
they
space.
are. Yeah,
Yeah.
They-
You can sell products on Amazon,
we need
but
to
if you don't own your own website, someone can see a related product that's not yours. Now they're on a totally different shop, and now they're not shopping at your store because they just saw this cool picture and was like, I'm going to click this. Now they're in a totally different dispensary. So instead, WordPress lets you own everything. It's your own content, your own traffic. You get to decide what you're displaying to your customers and how you're presenting it without having to worry that they're just going to click through somewhere else.
So okay, so all that everything you just said, I get. What are there any restrictions on the search engine side, right? So is there any specific thing you need to know for SEO?
Well, everything's age gated.
Yeah. You can have the age gate. You can have the policy that you have to check a box when you're checking out to verify that you're old enough. In the system that I actually have the option to where in the settings for each user, you can upload your driver's license picture. You can upload your rec ID. You can upload, so your doctor's note if it's just a medical dispensary. So they can verify all those things right through the site, and then that at least gives them the ability to say you did it.
Okay.
Where does that data get stored?
Okay, all right. Yeah, I was just going to ask. Is there any
GDPR, man.
I need to know that right now.
Concerns? Are there any privacy concerns or HIPAA concerns?
Not on his end.
Yeah.
Well, HIPAA would only be from someone who.
I'm just making the tools. That's on them. No,
these are good questions because it's more stuff that I should be looking into more just to be more
for your
self-aware of
blog.
it.
Actually, this is where you answer those questions.
Yes.
You answer them on your blog, and then your SEO is gonna. We're good for you. We got
so
you.
now you just keep it coming, Steve, because what I'll do is I'll just make a list and I'm just going to answer all of them now over the next couple of weeks.
And then you're going to be the top. Like, these are questions people have. Like, so you could literally rank. We want some credit though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll link back to everybody's personal websites, your Twitters, and all that. Yeah.
Yes. All right, sorry, I cut you off. What was your closing question, Steve?
That was it. Privacy concerns, HIPAA concerns. Jason asked the same. Jason was going on the same road. privacy, GDPR.
Yeah.
Now I want to know this person
also,
in here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say there's the power of like what Robert's trying to do it's embracing the open web, embracing something where you don't have a web seeking business or a rent seeking business inserting yourself.
Yeah.
Weed on the open web. This is what that was. I was gunning for that to be our subtitle, but I lost it to broccoli.
Broccoli.
Sorry.
It's I was going to suggest that we set the title like they do on TikTok, where you have to spell weed OUID.
Okay, that is so fun and really creating like an entire other language, like LOL cat. That's like LOL cat speak. It's the best. All right, any parting tips of real quick? What do you see as like the next frontier of the CannaBiz vis-a-vis WordPress or just the web in general?
I think I think most of it's just waiting on the government and the credit card processors to catch up, because we're all doing everything we normally do. If you do SEO work, it's the same type of SEO work. The laws need to become more standardized by what actually is happening. We're all adults. We can go buy alcohol just fine. You can do all these things, and there's not as many restrictions, nearly as much as there is in cannabis. So once those things catch up, I think that everybody else in WordPress is going to be completely fine, from the developers to the marketers, content writers. Because like you said, you got a blog, you got to promote stuff, and if you're promoting yourself as a knowledgeable source of cannabis, then all these people that don't have 20-30 years of experience with it, they're gonna find joy in that, and they're gonna want to stay on your site and buy products from you. So I think
so what I'm hearing is that the next phase of the CannaBiz is blogging. Sorry.
It could be.
Which makes it perfect for WordPress, because all WordPress is a blog software. So
yes. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that about does it for today. I want to say thank you very much, Robert, for coming and hanging out with us.
Letting us pepper you with our questions.
Steve, I have a thing for you here. I need you to go to Blockbuster and go return this. Be kind, rewind. Talk to y'all later. You have a good one.
Bye.
See ya.
Go over to WPwatercooler.com/subscribe to subscribe to this content. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and you can even watch us.
We're a podcast.
Talk to y'all later.
Happy birthday to me. Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.